The Relic Hunt, Kaida's journey to claim the Veil of Concord. Kaida woke the next morning to Soren barging into her room, his excitement so palpable it felt like a physical weight on her chest. "Champion!" Soren exclaimed, holding a map in his trembling hands. "We've located another relic, a fragment of the Veil of Concord. It's hidden in the ruins of Serath, an ancient stronghold lost to time." Kaida groaned, pulling the blanket over her head. "Soren, do you understand the concept of knocking, and what's with this world's obsession with relics?" "This is no mere artifact," Soren said, ignoring her complaints. "The Veil of Concord has the power to harmonize conflicting energies. If we can recover it, your abilities will become far easier to control." Kaida peeked out from under the blanket. "Easier to control? You should have started with that." Soren beamed. "Then you'll go?" "I don't have a choice, do I?" Kaida muttered, dragging herself out of bed. "Fine, but I'm bringing Darian and Leora. I'm not dealing with glowing death traps on my own." Soren hesitated. "Darian, yes, but Leora..." "She's coming," Kaida said firmly. "She's the only one here who doesn't think I'm some holy savior, and I like that about her." Soren reluctantly nodded. "Very well, prepare yourself, champion. The ruins of Serath are not for the faint of heart." Kaida rolled her eyes. "Neither is my patience, rogue guy." The trek to the ruins of Serath was long and grueling, the landscape shifting from barren wastelands to dense forests filled with creeping mist. The group consisted of Kaida, Darian, Leora, Soren, and a handful of Voidborn soldiers whose names Kaida didn't bother to learn. "So," Kaida said as they trudged through the underbrush, "what's the deal with this veil thing? Is it going to try to eat my soul or something?" "The Veil of Concord is a stabilizing artifact," Soren explained, his voice tinged with reverence. "It harmonizes opposing forces, allowing the wielder to control chaotic energies without risk of self-destruction." Kaida, Soren, Darian, and Leora prepared to enter the ruins of Serath, determination in their eyes. Kaida snorted. "You say that like it's not going to explode the moment I touch it." "It shouldn't," Soren said, though he didn't sound entirely convinced. Darian, walking a few steps ahead, glanced back with a smirk. "If it does, at least we'll get a great show." Kaida glared at him. "Thanks for the vote of confidence, horns for brains." Leora, who had been silent for most of the journey, finally spoke. "The veil won't explode, but the ruins of Serath are crawling with Voidborn defectors and Lightbringer zealots. If you're not ready for a fight, you should turn back now." Kaida activated Truth Gaze out of habit. Leora wasn't lying. Her concern was genuine, though buried beneath layers of stoicism. "I'm ready," Kaida said, gripping her staff. "Let them try me." The ruins of Serath were a sprawling labyrinth of crumbling stone structures, overgrown with vines and illuminated by the faint glow of ancient runes. The air was thick with magic, making Kaida's skin prickle. "This place gives me the creeps," she muttered, her eyes darting to the shadows. "Stay close," Darian said, his voice uncharacteristically serious. "The locals aren't exactly friendly." As if on cue, a group of Voidborn defectors emerged from the shadows, their eyes glowing a dull red. They were armed with makeshift weapons and radiated hostility. "You've come to take the veil," their leader snarled, a hulking figure with scars crisscrossing his face. "It belongs to us now." Kaida and her companions prepare to fight against the leader and his followers, showcasing their resolve and teamwork. Kaida sighed. "Why does everyone in this world think yelling will solve their problems?" The leader roared and charged, his blade aimed directly at Kaida. Her battle foresight kicked in, showing her the trajectory of his attack. She sidestepped gracefully, her staff colliding with his side in a swift counterstrike. New skill unlocked, Eclipse Slash, a devastating dark magic-infused melee attack. The energy of the orb flared as Kaida swung her staff again, a crescent of dark energy slicing through the air and knocking back several attackers. "Okay, that's awesome," she muttered. Darian was already in the thick of the fight, his blade a blur as he cut down two defectors with a single sweep. Try to keep up, princess, he called over his shoulder. Leora, meanwhile, moved like a shadow, her twin daggers finding gaps in enemy armor with deadly precision. Focus, she snapped at Darien. We don't have time for your theatrics. Soren hung back, casting protective barriers and firing bolts of energy at approaching enemies. Kaida, the Veil Chamber is ahead. Go, I'll cover you. Kaida rushes forward, her eyes focused on the chamber, ready to recover the Veil of Concord. Kaida hesitated, glancing at her companions. You better not die on me, Soren. I'll be fine, he said, though his voice wavered slightly. Go. Kaida sprinted toward the largest structure in the ruins, the orb humming at her side as if urging her forward. The chamber was vast, its walls lined with glowing runes that pulsed in time with the veil itself, a shimmering, ethereal fragment hovering above a stone pedestal. Looks fragile, Kaida muttered, approaching cautiously. The air around the veil crackled with energy, making her hair stand on end. Don't touch it yet, Darien said, appearing at her side. His armor was scuffed and blood trickled from a shallow cut on his cheek, but his grin was intact. Artifacts like this tend to have personality. Personality? Kaida raised an eyebrow. Great, it's probably going to insult my outfit. Before Darien could reply, a blinding light filled the chamber. A group of Lightbringers had arrived, their leader stepping forward with a smug smile. He was tall and handsome in a way that felt almost unfair, his golden armor pristine despite the chaos outside. Well, well, he said, his voice smooth and condescending. The Voidborn's little pet champion. Kaida rolled her eyes. Seriously? Is everyone in this world insufferable? You'll hand over the veil, the man continued, drawing his sword, or I'll destroy you. Kaida smirked, gripping her staff. Let's see you try. The chamber erupted into chaos as the Lightbringers charged. Kaida activated Battle Foresight, weaving through their attacks with uncanny precision. She swung her staff, releasing a wave of dark energy that sent 3 attackers sprawling. Darien and Leora joined the fray, their movements perfectly synchronized. Soren, who had caught up moments earlier, unleashed a barrage of spells that filled the air with crackling energy. The leader of the Lightbringers closed in on Kaida, his sword glowing with holy light. Their weapons clashed, the force of the impact sending shockwaves through the chamber. You're outmatched, he sneered. Give up. Kaida gritted her teeth, summoning the power of the orb. A tendril of dark energy wrapped around his blade, shattering the light magic and forcing him to retreat. Not today, pretty boy. When the dust settled, the Lightbringers were gone, forced to retreat. Kaida approached the veil cautiously, the orb pulsing in anticipation. Careful, Soren warned. The veil will test your resolve. Kaida reached out, her fingers brushing the shimmering fragment. A surge of energy shot through her, and for a moment she saw flashes of her past and future. A kaleidoscope of memories and possibilities. New relic acquired, Veil of Concord. Opposing energy stabilized. Dark art's efficiency increased. Kaida exhaled, the weight of the veil settling into her soul. She turned to her companions, exhaustion and determination warring in her expression. Let's go home.